Without further ado, I want to get into today's topic, values. I'm usually not a big fan of motivational quotes, but I find this one to be very true. There's only one success, to be able to spend your life in your own way. And right now, I want to get into what your own way looks like. As I already mentioned, values and goals are very much interlinked, but they are different. If you think of life as a voyage through the sea, you can think of your values as your lighthouse or your direction on a compass. If you only focus on the weather, on whether the sun is shining, if it's raining or storming, if the sea is rough or calm, then you will make a lot of your happiness and your success dependent on things you can't control. But if you keep focusing on your lighthouse, you will keep moving into the right direction, no matter what is happening around you, no matter the circumstances. If, for example, in poker you're running really poorly, you can focus on how poorly you're running, how the universe is against you, how life is unfair, how everyone is running better than you. Or you could focus on your values. For example, trying your best even in hard times, trying to learn from failure or trying to learn from bad runs, trying to make good decisions even when you're not feeling well. And that, of course, doesn't ensure you will feel better right away. The bad run could still continue. But in the long term, of course, it will make it much more likely that you start feeling well again as well. And that's a principle that is true for pretty much every area of life. Often, the valuable decisions don't make you feel great in the short term. They can often even be uncomfortable, but they will lead to better results in the long term. Another example would be honesty. Telling somebody your honest opinion definitely does not feel awesome every time. It can even lead to conflict, can make you feel uncomfortable, could hurt somebody's feelings. But in the long term, of course, it's likely to prevent problems or even improve your relationships or ensure that you surround yourself with the right people. Because if you tell your opinion honestly, you're more likely to attract those people who have the same opinions and values as you. So yeah, that's a principle that goes for pretty much every area of life. And right now, I want you to write down your values. Don't worry, of course, I'm going to help you. First of all, by giving you a few questions which you can use to find those values. Your values are the famous why. Why do you do anything? Why do you enjoy anything? For example, why do you play poker? Is it because you want to live a life of freedom? Is it because you want to travel the world, not care about schedules, not have a boss, and do whatever you want to? Or is it because it's a great way to support your family, because you can work from home, because you can spend time with your family, because you can take a day off to spend time with your family whenever you want. So yeah, why do you play poker? But I could also ask you, why do you go to the gym? What's the value behind going to the gym? It's probably not to get a six-pack. It's more likely because you want to feel good, because you want to be healthy, because you want to stay healthy your whole life. Or why do you read books? Why do you study? Because the value behind that could be your curiosity or the wish to be developing for your whole life. You can also ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to be? What kind of role model do I want to be? What should other people in a positive way think of me? What would people say at my funeral about me? What do I stand for? Which values was I living out throughout my life? And another one which you can use is what is so important to me that I'm willing to face adversity for it? What is so important to you that you are willing to face adversity, stress, tough times, bad beats, downswings, and so on, What's so important that you're willing to deal with whatever it throws at you? And to help you even further, I'm going to give you 4 areas of life for which you can write down your values and some examples. Now, of course, depending on the phase of your life you're in, on your age and what's happening in your life, your values will have different priorities. There are some values, of course, which will stay the same throughout your whole life, but there are some values which become more important in certain phases of your life. For example, if you're 19 and just getting into poker, you just finished school, then your priorities will be very different and different values will be most important than, let's say, if you're 35 and your first child is underway. So definitely don't do this exercise just once, because not only will some of your values change throughout life, but if you do this for the very first time, you're probably not 100% sure which values are the most important ones, because you actually have to check in real life. You have to put it to the test in real life, which values make the biggest difference in your everyday life. That will be a question we will answer with the second exercise. But for now, let's get to the first exercise. Write down your values in these 4 areas of life. Number 1, relationship, friendships and family. Number 2, professional life and success, which of course includes poker as well. Number 3, physical and psychological health. And number 4, personal development, hobbies, passion, spirituality, and so on. I will give you some examples, but they are very basic ones. So if you can write down more detailed values which are relevant to you, it's better. For example, just honesty is very general, of course. But if you personally find it very easy to be honest with your friends, but find it more difficult to be honest with strangers or certain members of your family, then write down honesty even in difficult situations with my family, because that's more likely to you are more likely to think of your values in those specific situations if you wrote down something specific, and therefore make it more likely to help you make a good decision. And yeah, all of those are pretty general. If you can find more specific values, more suited to your life, write them down. And of course, don't just copy these examples. They all look kind of good on paper, but really think about what are your most important values. And take your time. Pause the video and take at least 15 minutes to write down your values. Because especially if you do this exercise for the first time, there will be some areas where you might struggle a bit, where you can't think of too much at the beginning. Of course, some values will come to you very quickly, but in some areas you might need a little bit more time. And if you do this exercise again, you will probably come up with different ideas than the first time. And another important thing, it doesn't matter how good you are at acting on those values. They only have to be important. It doesn't matter if you are already completely honest with everyone, or if you struggle to be honest with anyone. If honesty is important to you, write it down. So, all right, now take your time, pause the videos, take 15 minutes, and only then go on with the video. So hopefully by now you've come up with a few important values for every of those 4 areas of life, but don't worry if you didn't find too many, because most people find this exercise quite difficult the first time. But every time you do it again, you will find more important values, and also you be able to write them down in more detail. So if you found a few ones, but they are important ones, you did a great job. Now, of course, the question comes up, what do you do with your values? How does knowing your values help you improve your life and your poker game? They do so by enabling you to ask good questions and therefore make good decisions. And now we get to the second exercise, which is putting your values to the real life test. The value diary. The value diary will help you to recognize specific situations where your values are being put to the test, and your decisions on those values will make you either feel good or bad. Or first, let me explain how you should design the value diary. Use the same 4 columns I'm using here. Describe the situation, describe the value that's being put to the test, describe your behavior, and how you felt afterwards. For example, you meet another poker player and he's talking badly about one of your good friends. That, of course, puts your value of honesty and standing up for your friends to the test. And depending on whether you say something or you say nothing, you will probably feel good or feel bad. Another example, if you feel lazy and tired before going to the gym, that of course puts your value of staying healthy throughout your life to the test. And if you're going anywhere anyway, even though you felt lazy and tired, you're very likely to feel good. So try to find at least 2 or 3 situations every day where your values were being tested and your behavior according to those values or not according to those values influenced how you felt afterwards. This exercise will help you tremendously to realize which ones are the really important values which make a big difference in your life and just how important it is to act according to them. That's it for the first video. If you have any questions left, if you want to share any experiences, any aha moments you've made through this video, especially of course through the exercises, let us know, write a comment and I will get back to you. And once again, I have to stress just how important it is to do the exercises. This series will not be worth half as much if you don't do them. So please take your time and do them as often as possible. Thank you again for tuning in. See you in the next video. Goodbye.